So moving on to this Cardinals series, Padres are definitely going to be shorthanded. Don't know if there's been any more COVID spread. We're recording on Friday about noon, so just kind of looking at the series, it's gonna be up to these arms to really come out here and pitch really well. You got Musgrove Friday night, Paddock on Saturday. Don't know how long Paddock's supposed to go because the guy who kind of came in for him last time, Weathers is pitching Sunday night in that prime time game. So I'll let you start, Chase. What do the Padres have to do to win this series? I don't think we should be expecting a sweep, but what do they have to do to win this series 2-1?
The pitching's definitely got to be top tier. We got to have our pitchers go, 5, 6 innings. It might be a little tough for Musgrove because, the Cardinals were in his division before he got traded to the Padres, and the Cardinals have seen a lot of Musgrove. So hopefully he can bounce back in a major way. He's kind of struggled his last few outings, but if we can give us, 6 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs, that'd be it. Paddock, the same thing. We just need 5 solid innings from him, and hopefully, Weathers is allowed to go past 4 innings. You don't know how he's going to do or what we're thinking because Weathers and Lamet, they've been kind of limited each time they've gone out to start. So if we can get 4, maybe 5 innings from Weathers, I see it as a win. If the bullpen can hold it down, that'd be great. I don't think our offense is really going to fire at the same speed that it used to. We do have those guys out, and we don't know if they're going to be back for this series or not. We haven't heard updates. So going into it as of right now, the pitching's got to be dominant, and we got to be able to scrape by wins with maybe 2, maybe 3 runs of support.
Yeah, I think in order for us to win this series, the offense has to put up at least 3 runs each game, and the pitching staff's really going to have to hold it down. And that's going to be a hard task to do because the Cardinals are playing some really good baseball right now. Like I said in the past video, I think they have the second best record in the NL. I think they're half a game back of first. And, with the talent that they have, we saw them in the Cardinals series or in the wild card series last year. They've only gotten better. They had a Nolan Arenado who used to be in my opinion, he was a thorn in our side for years. It seems like every time Arenado would come up or play the Padres, he'd go deep. And he played some really stellar defense, but that's what we expect from Arenado. And like I said, that I don't know what the pitching matchups are, but that team has only gotten stronger ever since that past series. And for this series, at least, the Padres are weaker without a couple of our key guys in the lineup. So, offense is going to have to scrape by, and the pitching is going to have to really, really come through this series.
Just for viewership's sake, it'd be awesome if this series was Manny Machado bomb, Nolan Arenado bomb, and just them going back and forth. That'd be super cool because we've seen a couple games like that when he's on the Rockies where you have these two guys just kind of like really both balling out. Arenado, definitely superstar, future Hall of Famer, massive ad for the Cardinals this offseason. I think that kind of puts them at atop their division. Like they should be expected to win the Central. And they're a team that like kind of got into the playoffs last year. Padres play them. Very easily could have beat the Padres in that playoff series, and except for Tatis and Machado really coming up with some big time home runs. But the Cardinals are a very good team, and you were right; they are only a half game back from, I think it's the Giants that are the best team in the NL right now. So I mean they're up there. I think that they should be expected to be a playoff team. I think they're a team that the Padres could easily come if they make the play. I mean, if both these teams should be expected to make the playoffs, and this could be a potential matchup later on in the season. I know that Paddock's going against Wainwright, and then Weathers is pitching against Kim on Friday. I think it's Oviedo. Did I say it? Okay. Yeah, so he's pitching. Hasn't been as good. Wainwright's obviously been a long-time Cardinal, really good pitcher there. I think there's a clear disadvantage on Saturday on the mound, unless we see the Chris Paddock that we saw last outing, with the curveball looking great. Hopefully that's the case. But I definitely think this is going to be a tough series to win. I think if the Padres win, this is similar to that past weekend's Giants series where, hey, if you take 2 out of 3, that's a big win on that series. And they took 1 out of 2 last weekend, and I don't think that we should have been too upset about it. It was just like, hey, that you're going up against really good pitching. You're going up against a really good ball club. And I think that's the same thing this weekend. So as far as the bats go, who's going to be the guy that sparks it for the Padres?
I'm going to keep going Kim. I think Kim's going to break out. And he's been hitting the ball a little bit harder. He's come up with some clutch hits, so I'm going to go Kim.
Well, the guy that has to be the spark for this team has to be Manny Machado with Tatis out. Manny Machado is going to have to come up. He's going to have to, kind of hit the way he did for the latter half of the season last year because, we are missing a bunch of key guys. So Manny being in that three hole, he's going to have to come up big, produce a lot of RBIs, and just, help this whole offense because we are missing a ton of key guys. It's going to be hard for us to put up a lot of runs on the board. Like we said, the pitching is going to have to really be the star of the show. So, but being able to get some key hitting from Manny from the top of the lineup, I think that's going to be what ultimately wins this series.
Yeah, I think that Machado is definitely a good choice. I possibly would have went with him, but just for, going over the roster and seeing that so many guys aren't healthy, I think one guy that definitely needs to have a big performance is Austin Nola. He's had a couple clutch RBIs, but hasn't really been hitting that well. I mean, hasn't really had a ton of opportunity. The second game on Wednesday, he had 2 hits, moves his average up to 174. So hopefully that's a sign for, better things to come and to kind of see him start balling out a little bit and being a very good hitter, because we might have to see him at second base a little bit and catcher. We could easily see him start in every game this series. I think that we should probably expect that. So this is a guy that definitely needs to come in and perform really well. Obviously gave up quite a bit for him last season, and he was fantastic down the stretch. But coming back from injury, I think he's a guy that we should expect to break out and really become that 280 to 300 hitter that I think he's fully capable of being. But anything else you guys would kind of want to add to this preview of this St. Louis Cardinals series?
Yeah.
Go for it, Chase.
I'm just going to say, hopefully the catchers continue to hit. They played a big role last series, so if they continue doing that, we might be able to squeak out a few wins against the Cardinals.
Yeah, if we see the Paddock we saw in the wild card series, that you could chalk that one up to an L because that was horrendous. But if we see even just a decent Chris Paddock that can go 4 or 5 innings with maybe 1 or 2 earned runs, I think we'll have a decent chance because we also. I feel like, we were talking about how the pitching needs to be the star. Well, in that Chris Paddock start, I think we know that the offense is going to have to put up at least 4 or 5 because you never know with Chris Paddock. He could go be 4 flawless innings and then give up 2 bombs, So this is going to be a very exciting series, though. 2 top teams in the NL. Obviously the Cardinals playing some really good baseball, as we've stated, and the Padres are playing some good baseball too. So hopefully, even with a really, really, really thin lineup, the Padres can come through. I don't know if we'll win this series, but as long as we get 1, I'm okay with that.
All right, yeah. So I think that's going to do it for this preview series. And if this is your first time checking out the channel, make sure to subscribe. And then we're also going to be talking about CJ Abrams and Mackenzie Gore in this next segment, and that'll be out tomorrow.